Right, I'm pretty excited to be here at Joule's Brewery in Shropshire. This brewery is a little bit of an institution around here. They've got 44 pubs across the county and just across the borders. Brew with their own mineral water on site. This beer was even on the Titanic. Pretty amazing. I'm going to be making a little collaboration beer with them today. Proper excited about this one. We've got Beechwood Smoked malt and honey as the sort of baseline notes. I love cooking with honey. I can't wait to cook with this beer. I'm going to be launching it on the 22nd of November at one of their pubs, the White Horse in Shrewsbury, where I've done loads of collaborations before. We've got a really cool outdoor barbecue area there. Come down and taste it, but right now I'm going to show you how it was made. Get on with it. Hey man, how you doing?
Hey Adam, how you all right?
Yeah, I'm good, mate.
Good to see you, good to see you. I'm Woody, one of the brewers here at Joule's Brewery, so welcome.
Woody, thanks for having me, man. I'm excited about this.
Yeah, I'm really excited as well. I've got some great ingredients. We're going to learn everything today, and then we'll finish the day with a nice pint back here.
You man after my own heart.
Perfect. But before that, nice little high vis for you.
Oh, lovely.
And then I'll take you over to the brewery, and we'll get cracking.
Cool, do it.
Let's go.
We use a British maltster, Thomas Fawcett, based up in Yorkshire, for all of our specialty malts, just about.
Okay.
So this is really going to contribute a lot of your bready, nutty, lightly toasted flavours for a golden ale. Then we've used a very small amount of what we call a crystal malt, which is a roasted, wet grain. And so you get some caramelization, some melanoidin reactions happening, just like on a barbecue, but at much lower temperatures.
Okay.
And of course, not as intense. So that is going to contribute colour, a little bit of sweetness, and a little bit of body as well. And then we've got the smoked malt. So we've gone to Germany for this, because there's no way to beat the Germans making smoked malt.
You need a lot more than I could provide for you as well.
Absolutely.
We were talking about maybe me doing it for you, but I
That's it.
just think I'd be there for a long time on my Kamado Joe. The flavour of it, I mean, I had a little nibble before.
It's fantastic, isn't
But
it?
right.
Yeah.
If you put a little bit of salt on that, you could almost have it as a beer snack on the bar.
That's it.
It's
Slightly
like
sweet.
it's like frazzles. What now?
Ready to mash in?
Back there we go. Keep your fitness brewing, Lark, eh?
We've got the ingredients now.
Yep.
We've got the recipe. We know kind of what we need to put together in terms of volume and the grist and things like that. So it's just a case of starting the brew house and getting the water in and getting the bags in.
Great.
This is my first smoked beer, and I think this is Joel's first smoked beer as well.
Right. Oh,
So it's really exciting to find out kind of what this does in the beer,
Right.
how it comes out. So this would 20% of the malt grist will be smoked malt today. So
It's exciting, isn't it? Like,
yeah, it is exciting.
I
Really
love
cool.
doing something new and hoping that it works.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll wing it. We're going to get it and
We'll
then
wing
smash it, I'm sure.
So we've got the water going in first. We're going to build up a little base layer of water. If we put in all the malt, it'll just stick to the bottom like glue,
Okay.
really. So
How much, what's the capacity of this?
capacity, we can get a ton of malt in here
Wow.
with probably about 30 hectolitres of water as well.
What's a hectolitre?
100 litres, yeah. So you got 3,000 litres.
3,000 litres.
So that's quite a lot.
That's a lot of beer, man.
Yeah, a lot of beer.
I can see there's obviously steam coming from this. So what temperature are we?
So we're looking for a temperature, probably going to be mashing in around about 70 degrees. There's different enzymes in malts that are activated at different temperatures.
Okay.
So if you're mashing at a slightly lower temperature, it'll activate more enzymes, break down more sugars, and you'll get a thinner beer or lighter beer, so say like a lager or pilsner.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
you're mashing a little bit higher, you won't activate certain enzymes, and you get more of those residual sugars remaining in the beer.
Yeah.
And that'll be from a full-bodied darker beer, stout, or a high ale or something like that.
Right.
So that's what we're hoping for today.
Exciting, man.
Yeah.
Love it.
So in here we've got our base malt,
Yep.
which is our pale malt, mixed with a little bit of Munich malt as well to add that kind of flavour and colour. So we're going to add that in, open this up, mix it with the hot water that's going in. But because this has already been milled, we're going to pour this in by hand, and we're going to mix it in as well. So you can pour it in by hand, and I'll mix it. So as you can see now, the water's now mixed with the malt,
Oh yeah.
and that's getting mixed in there, and that's now your malt grist in there. So once you start adding that, just start adding that
straight in,
gently. Yeah, straight in, gently adding that in.
All right.
And I'll get that.
The whole thing, yeah.
Yeah, just gently in, just
Whew. There it goes. And this smoked malt is really kind of subtle, sweet.
Yeah, it is quite sweet.
Beechwood Smoked.
Yeah.
I had a little nibble on it, you know, and it's really, really palatable. And with
When
the
you have
honey, I think it's going to be really, really good.
Yeah, so that'll balance it
I'm
out.
excited.
The honey will give it a bit of a...
I got a real smell of the dust that came off it then.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, the ends of the bag. We'll have a look in there.
So if you want to grab another bag,
Yep. Same one again.
and we've got to tip all these 6 in.
All of
You're
them,
right
yeah?
with that? Yeah, yeah.
Work this.
We'll add a little bit more water in there. So we want to get this malt and this water really well mixed. You don't want any kind of like solid chunky bits or dry bits of malt or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because you won't get any conversion of any sugars then. And it'll just be a waste of malt basically.
Yeah.
So you need to get it really nicely mixed, nice and wet. See how it's clumping up a little bit there. So
Quite a job, isn't it? Keeps you fit.
yeah, just keep you fit, especially with the stairs we've got here as well. A lot of running around and heavy lifting and stuff, but yeah, it's a great job. The best way to learn about beer and to know that you're doing a good job is to, I suppose with food as a chef.
I mean, you got to taste as you go, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I mean, I don't really want to eat the food, and I think that's probably why I don't want to eat at the end of the day, because I've been tasting all day.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, yeah.
anyway, nibbling on stuff, making sure everything's right. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, but with
Wait,
beer,
to cleanse the palate.
you're definitely still keen, yeah?
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. I mean, throughout the process, I mean, at every stage of the process, we taste the beer.
Yeah?
So throughout the day, it's not even beer yet today,
Yeah.
but we'll still taste it, make sure it's kind of meeting the profile and what we
Right.
think it should be, and then tasting the product all the way at the end.
I guess that's the same for me. You know, I would taste something and be like, you know, that's going to need more salt, or
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
I need to add a few more spices or whatever.
Exactly.
So early on, you can kind of diagnose if something's not right, or
Yeah.
where it's going to be improved.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And plus, it also highlights if you've got any issues in the beer, if there's any flavour defects or anything like that.
Yeah, right.
And it's also how you keep consistency of the brew.
So we get to taste a little bit of this today?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, amazing.
I mean,
That'd be so cool to
I
see what
can't
it tastes like
guarantee-
now
yeah, yeah.
compared to like what it'll end up as when we launch it.
So we've just got to keep going until all the malt is in.
Okay.
And then once it's in, we'll let it rest for 45 to 60 minutes.
Go for a beer, yeah?
Not just yet.
You're not allowed yet, are you? I am.
So now, as you can see, that's all now mashed in.
Right, yeah.
So we've got all the malt, all the grains, all that smoked malt that we've gotten in there. That's now been mixed with the water. Now it's going to sit in the mash tun now. We're going to have it in there for about 45 minutes to an hour. So yeah, so the next important thing, while that mash is now just sitting there, nicely cooking away, the next thing is to weigh out the hops. Now the hops are really important in beer. They not only add aroma to the beer, also bitterness as well.
Right.
So for a golden ale, nice and light, so we've got pale malt in there as well.
Yeah.
Added a little bit of Cara Munich in there
Right.
to give it a bit of body and colour. And then for the hops as well, we don't want that IPA punch, that kind of really modern, contemporary kind of modern craft beer.
Yeah.
You do want some hop aroma there, but also we've got that honey as well in the beer, and we can have the smoke. So you don't want too much, otherwise you're going to have
Otherwise, you get too much clashing.
too much clashing, too many things that are not going to be working together. So you just want something nice and subtle.
It's so much like building a new dish for me. Like, it's
Yes.
exciting to. I mean, I don't really know anything about beer until I got here today, but like your skills and your knowledge. You know, if I was making a curry that I've never made before,
Yeah.
I kind of know roughly how many spices I need of each type, which way I want to go with it.
Yeah, yeah,
And you follow your nose to a degree.
yeah.
And I guess that's what you're doing here when you do a new beer, right? You kind of
Exactly, yeah. 'Cause-
you're thinking about what you think will work and
yeah.
putting it together.
This is the sampler we got. This is just, so it's been sat in the mash tun now for an hour, breaking down all those sugars. This is just before it goes into kettle. So,
Right.
smell it, taste it. Extremely sweet,
Very sweet.
very sweet.
Ever so slightly getting the smoke though.
Yeah, smoke's coming through, yeah. On the aroma as well, it's quite smoky as well.
Mm.
And that colour in there as well, so that's like a nice kind of chestnutty brown, orangey type of colour. It's going to go a little bit lighter than that.
I was going to say, is it going to drop out?
Slightly, yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's a nice deep golden colour. So yeah, that's going to be excellent when it comes out.
I guess it's going to be the colour of honey, which is
Yeah.
what we want, really. Yeah.
It tastes as sweet as honey now,
Yeah, it does.
but it won't be. So when
Obviously, the yeast hasn't done its thing yet, right?
no, yes,
course.
when that ferments out, that'll be nice and dry,
Yeah,
kind of bits of
yeah.
beer. But so now all the wort has been pushed across from the mash tun.
Yep.
It's now in the kettle. It's at the start of the boil now. It's reached 100 degrees.
Right.
So at the start of the boil, it's time to add the bitter and hops, which we talked about earlier.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you grab them, I'll open her up.
Cool. Oh, wow. That's scary, man.
Yeah, so keep hold of your bucket. Gently tip them in, mind your hands. A nice vigorous rolling boil like that. If it's just trickling away, you won't get the evaporation. You won't get those volatiles splashing off here or anything like that. You need that vigorous rough boil
Right.
to really stir things up, to get the steam going and to flash off those volatiles and those aromas and stuff. So you can kind of see how much it's dropped. And just left behind now is just malt. It's just the spent grey.
Right. Yeah.
So we don't need to use that anymore. For us, there's no use for it. So what we'll do, we'll drop this out of the mash tun and it'll get drained out the bottom into those tubs. And then it'll go to a local farm, which is Ford Hall Farm.
Oh, yeah, I know Ford Hall.
Yeah, local farm, and they'll use this spent grain. There's still quite a lot of nutrition value in there.
Yep.
Proteins and things like that. So it's great for like pigs and cattle and things like that. So that'll go off the feed for them. They love it. It's good.
So they end up in the free sausage rolls that you give out on a Friday on the bar.
Yeah. So this meat, so this will feed the animals. We'll buy the meat off them. They'll go to our pubs, and then we'll serve them in our pub.
Oh, I love that, man.
Okay. So yeah, at this point now, we're going to add the aroma hops and also the honey. So we've got just under 10 kilos going in. So if you want to chuck in yours.
Yeah, sure, man. Oh, yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Look at that. Woo, it's warm. Forgot that it's actually like holding your hand over an actual kettle. Pretty warm.
And then the last bit is the aroma hops that we talked about earlier.
Okay.
So we'll just chuck those into the pallets. And then. Cool. So the honey and the hops there, they get 5 to 10 minutes now. Then we'll take some analysis, and then it's on to the next step, which is the whirlpool.
Right.
Stuff. Yeah, the next point of the process then.
Yeah.
We've finished the boil.
Yeah.
It's been on for 70 minutes today. The last 10 minutes, I've added the honey and the aroma hops as well.
Right.
Now the next step is to get a sample, and that way we can check the gravity and check kind of the analysis of the beer to make sure it's in spec, and we can move on to the next point then and start cooling it down.
Right. Cool.
So, yeah. And we'll take this to the lab, run some tests, and see where we're at.
Sweet.
Good stuff. This is our hot back,
Yep.
and basically, as you can see at the bottom, it's kind of like a bit of a sieve, like a full spot on floor.
Yep.
So when we push all the wort onto there, we're going to put all these hops in now.
Okay.
So when the wort comes over and lands on there, and we're going to recircuit, it's going to act as like a filter. So it's going to capture any of those solids, any of those proteins that you saw,
Okay.
and help kind of clear the beer out of anything before we add it into our earthy.
Right.
So we're going to add this in now. So if you want to chuck
Sweet.
those in,
Yeah, man.
awesome stuff. Yeah. There you go. So they're going to add aroma as well to that, and we're going to add the wort on top of that. So if we close that, we'll kind of get that started and pushed across.
Cool, man.
Good stuff. So what you can see there, Adam, that's the wort coming across in the kettle.
Okay.
So that's going to be about 100 degrees. It's going to come over here. It's going to hit those aroma hops in here. It's
Yeah.
going to fill up really nicely. And it's going to cool down to about 80 degrees, something like
I'm
that.
going to say this process must cool it down a bit, right?
Yeah, it cools it down a bit
Yeah.
because obviously when we send it into the FV, we're going to have to cool this one down to about 20 degrees.
Okay. Little stretch. Long day.
Where we are now, all the work is now in the hop back. It's now a recirc of all those lovely hops, those Cascade hops that we put in there. Now, as I said, that's probably about 80 degrees. We need to rapidly cool that to around about 20 degrees before it meets the yeast in the FV.
Yep.
So the way we do that, we send it through these two filters and also this little heat exchange as well.
Right.
This will rapidly cool it down. So we have cold water going one way, the hot work going the other way. They don't actually kind of mix, but there's some plates in there and they pass each other and it rapidly cools it down.
Right.
Yeah, so to get that started, if you want to, open this one and then close that one. So open that one first, close that. There you go. And you'll see it now starting to come through eventually, hopefully.
There it is.
And if we open the cold water behind it, so you can see that coming through. And another important thing that we need to do as well is to add oxygen. So if we open that up, the reason we add oxygen to the work, it kind of aids the growth of the yeast. Okay. So we put the yeast in, a certain amount, and the yeast will eat the oxygen first, it'll multiply, it'll grow, and then once it's eaten up all the oxygen, it then turns its attention to sugar, and then it starts eating the sugar, and that's where we get alcohol and CO2 from.
Right.
That's cool. So, this is our yeast. It's our house yeast.
Wow.
That we have.
Lively.
Yeah, it's lively, it's big.
So you fed that with something, yeah? To get it?
No, this is just cropped straight off one of our previous brews.
Oh, okay.
From
so
last week.
Recycling it?
Yeah, recycle it. So we pitch it into a brew. It obviously multiplies and grows.
Yeah.
That's basically what we want to do, is create an environment for yeast to grow.
Yeah.
And the byproduct is alcohol, CO2.
Wicked.
So basically, so what we need to do now, before we add this, is just to test it really, test its viability, test its health. So we'll grab a sample of it, we'll take it in the lab, and we'll do some analysis on it.
Cool, man. Let's do it.
Some stuff. So give it a good mix.
That looks so good.
Yeah, it looks so good.
That's a TikTok video waiting to happen, isn't it? Missed it. Come on.
Grab a bit of that.
There we go.
There you go.
Tastes like really intense beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing we've got to check now is the solids of this yeast.
Yeah.
So we've got a little sample of it. We're going to put it in our centrifuge, spin that round 6 minutes, and that'll separate the solids from the liquids.
Okay.
And we'll measure it before, tip away the liquids, and then measure it again, and we can work out what the solid percentage is of that yeast.
Right.
Brilliant. So yeah, so we've measured out the assessments that we've done on the yeast. We need 15 kilos.
Yeah.
So we've got 15 kilos of yeast here.
Okay.
All nice and ready to go. The wort's in there. So we're going to add this, and then hopefully it should have a good time, produce some alcohol.
Brilliant, man. How long will it stay in there for?
It'll ferment for probably 2-3 days.
Yeah.
And then we can skim the yeast off that.
Yeah.
Put it on cool. And then it'll spend a few more days in this tank. Then we can drop it downstairs ready to rack and package, and it'll spend a week and a half, 2 weeks in the warehouse, nicely chilled, maturing away in the casks, and then it'll be ready to roll out to our pubs.
Amazing.
If everyone wants to try, super good stuff.
Go for a beer now.
Let's go grab a pint.
Let's go. Got me some malt extract. Just had to go and get these out of my car. I'm going to make barbecue sauce of these. Days. Always trying to scrounge weird ingredients from wherever I go.
Cheers, Adam. Thank you very much.
Cheers, mate.
Really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed your day brewing.
I did. It was amazing. So many similarities to cooking, really.
Yeah.
You know, like with regard to sort of, you know, there's certain things you have to make sure you do, but then there's so much room to play around with flavour and kind of,
Definitely.
and
It's all about
instinct.
knowing your ingredients
Yeah.
and what impact they can have on the product.
Right.
And at different times you use it. It's exactly the same with cooking and things like that. And adding spices, salt and pepper and stuff, exactly the same as adding hops to a beer. You know, it changes the beer and adds that character to it.
Of course, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, cheers. Thanks
Cool.
for today.
Yeah,
Really
thank
appreciate
you.
it.
See you
Cheers.
soon. We'll see you on the 22nd for the launch at the White Horse. Cheers.
Cheers.